if we take away the rigor and you take away what makes this sport beautiful, which was scars, girls dig scars, getting hit in the mouth, learning how to get hit in the mouth, getting back up, throwing the touchdown while you get hit in the mouth, celebrating with your O-line, even though they let you get hit in the mouth as the quarterback. But guess what? You fed them every Friday night like I did. And they felt bad when you got hit because they knew you were the guy, their quarterback, their leader. Every Friday, Big Smitty, I fed my O-line at every level, even from a player to a coach. I taught my quarterbacks, better take care of your goddamn O-lineman. You better start taking care of them. If you get to the league, buy them a watch, buy them a car. I mean, you got unlimited money. Let's keep it real. Right. The issue I have is we don't see that no more, I don't think. Like, I go around and I see these kids, and I'm like, the quarterback's so distant from the O-line. Mm. And I'm like, really? The motherfucker protecting you, you're distant from, you don't have a relationship with, you don't figure out how to go feed their ass on Friday, just you and them. Nobody else. Right. You do your other shit with the wideouts and your running backs and all that shit during the week. Your O-line and the quarterback needs to be a special different bond, dog, and I always had one. That's why they were ride or die. Like, and guess what? I'd motherfuck them in the huddle if they were getting beat and they didn't say nothing back. You know why? Right. Because it was not a put you down thing. It was like, motherfucker, what I do for you, and we're boys, and we're supposed to be this tight bonded group, and you whiffed, right. And they feel bad. They're like, fuck, JB, I got you, you know, and if it's an argument, it's an argument, but damn, you don't see that no more. Have you seen some of the interactions? I'm watching the interactions, dog, between quarterback and O-line, and it's like the O-line just walk by the dude, or the quarterback just walk by you. It's like, there ain't no relationship right now being built. I'm watching college football. It's horrible. I'm like, but how can you do it, Big Smitty, if you have 30 new guys every semester at a college? Mm. How can you build a relationship as a quarterback if you're new and the O-line's new? Right. Like, let's keep it real. This is a show, dog. And I guess we're going to roll right into it before Matt gets in, but I got to ask you, this is, you know, listen, we got lots of debate on this, but apparently, Big Smitty, during the Colorado loss, come out to be the loss. At halftime, they were winning by 29. Apparently, Shedeur Sanders was posting merch apps on Instagram stories. Now, you and I both talked about this previously. They got teams running their social media. I got guys running some of my social media for the last 4 years. So right. I understand it and get it. But Big Smitty, I'm just going to say right now, regardless, if he did it, if his brother did it, if the publicist did it, it's a bad look. Yeah. It's a bad look. So
bare minimum. Yeah.
Bare minimum, it's a bad look, regardless of who did it, who posted it, if he did it, if he's really out there doing like this. The issue is before I let you talk about this, or before I want to get your take, I got to ask you, like, there's someone in there allowing it, and you either allow it or you coach it. And I like Prime. I like what Prime's doing and all that shit. People calling Prime a fraud is an absolute joke. The reason I say they're calling Colorado, they're not saying Prime's a fraud. I'm seeing all these tweets about Colorado being a fraud. And I'm like, how is somebody or a program a fraud after inheriting the worst college football team in America a year ago, and you've already won 4 games? Right. Could have been 5 games, but you've already won 4 games, surpassing any expectation for the most part. You can't call a program and a place a fraud. That tells me is you're just really over that. Right. Yeah. You know, this. You're over all the hoopla, the arrogance, the cockiness, or just the flat out swag, if y'all want to call it that. Whatever it may be, I think the haters are going to come out in bigger bundles, right? Yep. And then you're going to have guys coming out talking about Deion's allowing it, or is he coaching it? And I had a talk with you privately about some things I was told by some very reliable sources. And their number one fear was if it goes south in this environment, the way it is, the way we brought in basic mercenaries to rebuild this bad place seemingly overnight, without, even though the head coach prime is building a culture, that does not mean that the new players are going to become part of that culture. Let me just be clear when I say that. I've rebuilt programs and cultures all my life, but the players that I brought in, they were part of that culture. They were part of the rebuild. They were part of it, meaning they were going to be there at least 2 years for a JUCO purposes, or 4 for a 4-year level guy, like a D2 or D3 or D1, right? So I don't know if you could do that right now in this landscape. So by saying that, my point is, does it become a shit show? Which I used to say, ghetto fuck fest, if shit starts to go south. And you saw Dion Bailey, I don't know if you find the video, Dion arguing with one of his corners on the sideline. And he's getting into it. The corner clearly is kind of like, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I didn't like how the kid responded and how he kept talking. Like, if you fully are bought in and have respect for your head coach, and it's a full-on bought-in process, it is basically, I allowed cats to bite back a little. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I think they should be able to express themselves. That's why you saw a lot of me back and forth with certain guys.
Right.
But there's certain guys that are like, all right, that's enough. Now shut the hell up and understand this is a one-way deal. I say it, I'll let you talk, and then guess what? Do what I say or bounce. Because if it's a debate, Big Smitty, we're going to have a lot of those Indians, running around and no chiefs. And, dog, we don't need a lot of chiefs, bro. We need one chief and a lot of Indians. And a lot of Indians trying to be chiefs, it'll deteriorate a program like this. My biggest worry is, does Prime lose the locker room because they lose a game like they did, 29-0, up 29-0, and they lose that game? That's a big demoralizer, in my opinion.
Now, it's a huge demoralizer, you know what I'm saying? And like everything about Coach Prime in terms of like how he talks to you, what he puts out in the media is all like confidence and spewing confidence, right, into his players and making you feel like you're the best in every single situation. And that's cool when you're winning. But when you start to lose multiple times, especially lose a game like that when you should have won, you let a Stanford team who I think had won, one game maybe prior to that, come back from being down 29-0. That type of like win and comeback can be demoralizing to a locker room. And I fear the same thing, that, you know, he could be losing locker room, because if you look at their schedule, JB, it's not getting any easier at all. They got some tough games that are lined up right here. And now I have to question if this team will truly become bowl eligible after losing that game. You know, I don't know if there's 2 guaranteed wins left on this schedule. And I just think, man, that's one of those embarrassing losses when it's like, man, like it just can't happen. Yeah, it just can't happen. Not against that team, not against when you have all that talent on your squad. And again, I don't mind any of the showing out, the showing to watch and bragging, having fun. Like, all that's cool. It's a part of sports. It's a part of, you know, trash talking. All that's cool. But what comes with that is backlash when you don't perform. And it's coming in storms right now. I'm seeing online people laughing, people, you know, showing out, jocking them, and yeah, like you said, it's saying that they're, you know, overrated, and just everybody just taking shots at them, because when you're a guy who flaunts everything, people hate that, and they're looking and waiting for the moment for your downfall. They've been waiting for your downfall, Coach Prime, and now that this has happened, everybody's at your neck. Coach Prime can handle that, right? He can handle that, but can his players handle that? Can these young guys who's always been the stars at their previous schools, whether it was high school or their previous colleges, whatever, can they handle that? I don't know, JB. I guess we'll find out.
And here's a little video, McChesney. This right here is, so right there, it should have been ended. Yes, sir. But then that I'm not feeling, homie. And that's my boy Andre Hart sitting on the sideline right there, coaching him. Good friend of mine. that back last piece there, as he barks back at Prime and then Prime walks away, to me, it's like, see, once he said that, I would have been back over there in his ass. He might not even finish the game. Like, at this point, I'm willing to sacrifice, Big Smitty, everything. When I turned Indy around or Compton College or wherever I've been, I was willing to risk everything. That means this, Big Smitty, so everyone understand. That means losing a coach, firing him, cutting my best player, cutting multiple players, losing teachers, whatever it may be. I was willing to sacrifice it all for the fact that I'm building this place seemingly overnight now with the NIL and this transfer portal.
Right.
And I don't know if we saw that, because I would have been losing that dude right there. I was going to find out real quick if that motherfucker was on board or was he above board.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yep.
Does the player believe he's above board or are you on board?
Right.
Because if you think you're above board, we got a problem. And that was the right there. That was the determining factor for me. I would have found out real quick by going back over there and saying, what'd you say? Right. Okay. All good. Have a seat. There wouldn't have been no argument. Have a seat. We're good. And we'd have went right with the next man up mentality. And guess what? If the next man up mentality, Big Smitty's not as good, oh, well, I'm willing to sacrifice it all because I'm rebuilding a program. It's not just about the Jimmies and Joes. It's about everything at this particular year one state. Year one. This is year one, Big Smitty. This isn't, I don't got to win. He don't got to win it all right now. Like, I don't understand how cats are calling him a fraud on the other side, devil's advocate. You can't call something a fraud or someone a fraud when you've already tripled your win total from a year ago.
Right. Like if he didn't win no more games the rest of the season, he's already technically overdid what he's supposed to do in the first place compared to last year. It's all about distance traveled. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they won 6 games last year, well, then he'd be in some trouble. But they won 1 game, so that's the bar.
And here's I want to get your take on this as a former player, especially not to bring race into it, but as a black player. Okay, You've played for white coaches, you played for black coaches, you played for everybody. So have I. I've had black head coaches, I've had white head coaches. It doesn't matter. We never looked at that as anything. But I have played under a head coach who had a son on the team. And I was actually the son's backup in high school. Now, when I was a freshman, he was a junior. He was much better than me. There wasn't no, he's hating, he's playing me. He's playing his son. Nah, his son was one of the best quarterbacks in America, by the way.
Gotcha.
But what he did with the son kind of resonated with the rest of the team as we got deeper into the season, closer games. If you favor the son over a regular receiver or O-lineman or what, you see it, right? The team sees it, right?
For
You
sure.
start to see it, right? Like, why don't he got to run as much? Or why doesn't he get ripped like I do? Or why doesn't my question to you is, where are we when you see Shedeur Sanders running around doing what he does? Now you see this tweet that maybe he posted something at halftime, maybe he didn't, who knows? But it's out there. And then his other son, Shilo, I saw him running around arguing with players during the game. Both sons talk shit to the crowds, to opposing people. When Deion shakes the head coach's hand of the opposing team after the game, have you noticed that his sons are there, like security, and they want to hear and know everything that's being said?
I did notice that.
That's the part I don't get, dog, as Prime, as the daddy. I'd have been like, live on camera, get your little asses out of here. Like, you're not only my kids, but you're my players. You don't need to be privy to this conversation. This is my point in a bigger cycle of things. I'm tired of seeing Aaron Rodgers with a fucking headset on, homie. I'm just telling you. It irks the shit out of me. I'm tired of seeing Dak Prescott when he's not playing with a headset on as if he's a coach and privy to what's going on as a coach. You're not. There is a huge distinction. There should be a separation. Player, coach. If you don't have it, there's no hierarchy, you will never succeed. I'm just keeping it 100. I've never seen it. I've never seen all the grocery baggers at Walmart have the same say as the CEO and have a successful organization. I've never seen everybody at ESPN who works in the back of everything and does all the editing and all that have the same say as the CEO of ESPN. I've never seen a program or a structured environment when that model. Have you?
I haven't either.
Let's figure out when are you going to break that not only father-son thing, but how bad is it in the locker room right now when the players are looking at those two sons running around, his other son's filming everything. He's walking with only his son before the game. They're filming it. See, if it was me, this is just me. I don't have a son playing, but if I did, I would never have that motherfucker by me because I know how I am. I would have someone else. I'd be walking with Travis Hunter. I'd be walking with that motherfucker, walking around with him, my non-blood.
Right.
Showing everybody that, man, Coach JB real one. He with everybody. I'd be having it different. And I see people in the chat and on TikTok like you're overthinking it and all that. Nah, it's not really overthinking it. It's bringing it to attention that this could be an issue down the line because I'm discussing the future recruits. When are future recruits starting to say, a little bit of a show for me, I think I'm just going to go to Oregon or I'm going to go.
Shedeur ain't going to be there forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like Coach Prom is going to just stop coaching once Shedeur goes to the next level or whatever. So that won't be a problem, even if it is one right now, long term. Number one. Number two, I also wonder, and obviously we don't have the exact answer, but I just wonder how does he coach them at practice? Is he actually giving Shilo and Shedeur special privileges? Are they not having to run as hard, or are they not being punished when they make mistakes on the field? If they, things like that. If that's happening, it's a huge issue in the locker room because players gonna be whispering, and players at some point gonna start arguing with the Sanders brothers. Like, man, only reason why you got away with that is because your daddy is the coach, or you'll start hearing comments like that. But I feel like coach. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm not there, but as a head coach, as a father, common sense will tell you, like, I damn near got to be even harder on my kids to just reverse that. It's almost like the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady kind of coaching player situation. Obviously, that's not his son, but all the players was like, if Belichick can cuss out Tom Brady in the locker room, he can damn sure cuss me out. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, damn, because Prom got Shilo and them working harder than us damn near. Like, if he tell me to do something, I got to listen. Like, ain't no point in me not listening. You know what I mean? So, again, there's no way to know how it's actually looking in practice and stuff like that. But, yeah, you do see the results of them, showcasing and showing out and things like that. But it's not just them. It's the whole team. I mean, you saw the kicker 2 games ago. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but made the game-winning kick, and he's flaunting, doing his little dance. Like, that's what Coach Prom puts out into the entirety of the team, not just his sons. I think the camera is always on the Sanders brothers for obvious reasons. So we see every little thing they do, every celebration, every time they're talking shit, talking trash. We see everything they do. We don't see what the other players are doing because the cameras are not on them 24/7. And then lastly, in response to the video you showed earlier, where Coach Prom kind of, going back and forth with the player, it's always tough for me to judge those moments because, as you know, football is a very hostile environment. In the moment, the player might have just made a big mistake. He's frustrated. I've seen so many times players say something back. And sometimes it's not even necessarily like a disrespectful comment. Like, sometimes the facial expression, when you don't hear the sound, makes you assume that player was saying something crazy back, when in reality, he could be pissed off at himself, or it could be a miscommunication, or whatever the situation may be. We don't know what that interaction was like. So it's like, it was such a quick moment. I can't really judge that. Now, if they were arguing, really going at it back and forth, somebody had to hold Coach Prom back and they were fighting through it, that's something I would be concerned with. But that clip we just showed a few minutes ago, that was such a quick back and forth. The player, said something back, it was a real quick little interaction to where I don't see that, and I don't get concerned. But I do know a loss like this can mess you up.
I've had blow-ups on the sideline. Obviously, the world's seen it, right?
Right.
Me going after Malik, here's the thing. I don't know that kid in Prime's relationship, and no one knew Malik in my relationship. Obviously, we had Malik on the show. You got to see there. You've seen, I've had all my players on this show for over the last 2 years. I've had basically every player, and they'll all tell you there's a, how do I say it? There's a relationship that no one outside of those two people understand.
Right.
But we'll be judging you. We'll judge me. I got judged forever. Trust me, I'm the most judged person on the internet probably.
Yeah.
Having said that, we don't know that relationship with Prime. So I'm not going to sit here and judge that relationship either. I don't know who the kid is. It's not his son, though. It's not Travis Hunter, who we all think he's super tight with and all that. But we don't know that kid. Obviously, he had something to do with recruiting that kid and bringing him there. Right. So we don't know the relationship. A, so I'm going to say that. B, though, this is week whatever, 7? At some point, there has to be all right, you're on board or above board. And like I go back to my original point, this is the testing portion of that time. Because why do it if we're just going to lose all these players we've tried to build this structure and culture around? If I'm going to run them all off, then there's no reason to build a culture. I got to build a culture and keep some remnants of the foundation. Right. I don't know what year that corner is. I don't know what year a lot of these players are. I know he's going to be in the portal heavy every year. He's going to bring in kids every year. I get all that. But there's got to be some semblance or remnants of a culture establishing foundation. And that's got to be a majority of the roster. The roster, Big Smitty, has to be at spring ball next year as a majority coming in, culturing and massaging the new pups. Yeah. This is how we do shit here. This is Colorado now. This is how we move. This is what we do. We go to class on time. We study all on time. We work hard. We're there. Whatever it is, the players set that tone, not the coaches.
Right.
So we're running cats off or trying to run them off, or my biggest fear, Big Smitty, we bring in a bunch of mercenaries to win year one, and they leave and enter the portal because of it's either a show. This is a show. A lot of kids' coaches may be looking at it like, man, you don't want to go over there with that show, or do you want to go to Oregon or Washington and be in a place kind of out the limelight? Big Smitty, my point is this, and we'll move on. Jermaine Johnson did not want to be on camera.
Right.
Coy Dang did not want to be on camera. Raheem Boyd really did not want to be on camera. Certain guys that are big-time players really don't even want to be on camera. They don't really want to be around that show. To be real with you, they don't want to be around that shit. So how many great players do you think really want to go there and be filmed all day? That is why I don't know if Deion could ever coach in the NFL and film all that shit. Because how many guys really want to be on camera like that? Like, grown man, I don't think grown men really want that show. They already got the show. Because in my opinion, Big Smitty, we're going to get into. Eric Weddle's going to bring up a great point later. Here's what I'll drop the mic on right now. And I appreciate everybody joining us. We got over 1,000 people in here. Hit the like button, subscribe, become a member. Here's what I'm going to drop the mic, Smitty, and I want to get your reaction. If Weddle goes, JB, to me, it's a humbling experience. And I can't wait till EW walks in. It's a humbling experience. I got another DM by somebody else saying it's karma. I'm sitting here. It's humble and it's karma. I don't know if it's karma. I don't know what they've done wrong. Besides, piss everybody off by being cocky and arrogant and having swag, right? So I don't know if it's karma, number one. Number two, it's humbling. Big Smitty, I'm going to drop the mic by saying this. It cannot be humbling if the party that is being so-called humbled don't care. They don't care, Big Smitty. That's why I'm not coaching, homie. These kids don't care. They want to post Instagram stories at halftime. It's a show. This is a show now, homie. They want to go get a bag of money. They don't care about the end result. If they don't care, how is it humbling? If they don't care, how is it karma? These cats don't care, Big Smitty. There's a reason why I could not coach right now. They do not care. So guess what? I can't care because I cannot be the reason you drive yourself to success. You have to have some type of self-motivation, homie, or I can't just keep leading you to water and expect you to drink it. Sorry. Because if you don't want to drink it, bro, I'm out. I can't force you to drink it. So I truly believe there is no humbling in this. There's no karma. There's nothing. This is a show. This is a show. It's a shit show, in my opinion. That's my opinion. A lot of y'all, even yourself, Big Smitty, can have a whole nother take because you love the kids getting paid. I do too. I've been a proponent, but not in this manner. But I still want them to be paid. I also want, I still think the transfer portal is killing any type of leather, which means tough skin creation. We're not creating any tough skin. We're not creating any adversity. We're allowing these kids to get out jail with a pass without ever earning their stripes. And then we're paying them on top of it, which you're seeing, Big Smitty, translate upward into the NFL because look at the injuries. Look at the lack of, I don't know what you want to call it. I'll wait on that. What I'm going to say, we'll wait. But I think you're seeing it translate for the first time. Translate upwards for the first time. I think that's why you're seeing a bad product in the NFL. It's only getting worse. And what do I know? But that's my take on this whole thing. I want to get your take, please. I know I'm rambling today. I want to get your take on this Colorado thing and this whole humbling karma thing. Because if you don't care, Big Smitty, are you really humbled?